Ian from Lean Media. Today I'm going to be talking about Flexport integrations for people who used to be Shopify Fulfillment Network customers. If this video helps, please take a moment to like it and follow me. Let's get started. We're looking at the Flexport integration options if you are a Flexport customer. And in my case, I came from Shopify Fulfillment Network. Shopify, they sold SFN to Flexport. Flexport also operates a service called Deliver with 2 R's. And basically, at the beginning of this month, all of my Shopify Fulfillment Network inventory was ported over to Flexport. So that's great. Flexport is handling the fulfillment of these particular items. You can see the fees that they're charging for that here. But the other really interesting thing about Flexport is it has integrations with a whole bunch of other listing services, big platforms, and also other smaller platforms that you've maybe haven't used in the past, such as Wish. I didn't even know that existed. WooCommerce are the WordPress e-commerce plugin that some people use. So I was very happy to hear about this because I do have other listings on Etsy, on eBay, on Walmart, on a couple other ones as well. So I'm thinking, if Flexport already has my Shopify inventory, maybe I can just integrate it with these other services as well that I operate, and then Flexport can take care of it all. Because up until I learned about Flexport, I was fulfilling Etsy and eBay orders on my own, for instance. So what I did is I did integrate with Etsy, and also I integrated with eBay, but then I shut it down for a reason I shall explain shortly. And then I also have the Shopify integration. I just wanted to explain a couple things about the way Flexport works for people who used to be in Shopify Fulfillment Network, because it was kind of confusing when I saw the add integration for something like, Sellbrite, which basically is like a jackknife for spreading out your listings to different marketplaces, including eBay and Amazon and Shopify, versus doing it directly with these services using these buttons right here. I did a little bit of research, I did a little bit of testing, and here's what I found out. So the first thing you need to understand is Flexport and Deliver, by extension, are really only about third-party logistics. That is, fulfilling items from their warehouses to your customers who order on your website, or on other platform websites such as Etsy or something like that. When you do a sync or an integration with one of these services, these sales channel services, they're not syncing the metadata about your product or the photos or the prices or anything like that. They're only syncing the items that they have in their warehouses that match the items that you've listed on these sales channels through some other method. So I wanted to make that really clear. While it's possible to use one of these jackknife services to kind of get your Shopify listing onto, say, eBay using Sellbrite, it's also possible just to use the direct integrations that Flexport already has for these particular services that just update the inventory. So if you already have an existing listing on Walmart, you can use Flexport just so Walmart can start accessing inventory from their logistics warehouses, and as long as the SKU matches, it can come right over. So that's actually a pretty key thing to understand. It has to match the SKU. That is, if you have a listing on Walmart, the SKU that you're using on Walmart has to match the SKU that they have for your inventory in Flexport, which in turn comes from the inventory that they synced over from Shopify. So you can see the SKU right here. It ends in 656. That SKU, if I want Flexport to take over Walmart, for instance, the SKU that I already have on my Walmart listing has to match this number. That way Flexport will know, this is the same product, so we can start serving that product for people that buy the item on Walmart and ship it to them. Now, if you look at the Flexport help services for these particular items, they explain a lot about the different requirements for the different platforms. So, for instance, if you are fulfilling orders through eBay direct integration, you cannot have your eBay account also connected to any listing tools nor to any other shipping solutions. Okay, so if you're using like ShipStation and then Sellbrite for your listings and shipping respectively for eBay, you have to turn those off, or you have to disable them, or you have to follow any other requirements that Flexport lists. Basically, what Flexport is doing, they're taking over the inventory listing and they're taking over the shipping listing. those particular data points for whatever listing you have on another platform. They are not impacting anything else. And if there's a conflict, that is, you have another listing service that you're using, this may cause issues for Flexport, including things like double orders and stuff like that. So really read these requirements closely, including order cancellation behavior and other things, updates to inventory levels. You shouldn't be doing things like manually updating the inventory level on Walmart or Etsy or whatever once you start integrating with Flexport. And of course, if you have a question, you should reach out to Flexport directly. So I just wanted to give people kind of a lowdown on how these integrations work. They're really easy to set up. Once you follow their requirements, and I recommend what you do, you read closely the requirements for Sellbrite, for Walmart, for eBay, for Etsy, for whatever, and then you add the integration. And basically what they're doing is they'll have you log in. There'll be some sync going back and forth, and then if the SKUs match, that inventory will be basically handled by Flexport from there on out. So that's kind of my overview of Flexport for former Shopify Fulfillment Network customers. I've started to use it for other platforms, including Etsy and eBay. Shopify, of course, was the first one to be integrated because that's how I learned about Flexport. So far, it seems pretty good. I'm pretty impressed by the fact that I can add these other listing tools or these other sales channels. So I'm going to be giving updates on that as time goes on. But it's a pretty cool solution so far. It seems to work okay, knock on wood, and we'll see how it goes from here. If you have any more questions about different types of e-commerce tools, go to leadmedia.org. That's my official website. Click on blog or video. You'll see lots of free resources and warnings and different tips from an experienced Amazon seller, and I've also been selling on Shopify and other platforms for a while too. This is Ian signing off. Thank you so much for watching.